in the early 80s, you could buy a lot in Port Royal for less than $30,000.
Doesn't that hurt? I hate hearing
I know.
that. That's so painful
I
to
know.
me. Oh, gosh, I hate that. You said you hire younger. What is your take on the generational gap?
I have a young man who I hired as an intern when he was at FGCU, gave him a job when he graduated, and he's been with me 5 years now, and he is my exit plan, 3-year plan where he's going to take over as president and then, eventually buy the company out from me. I would say he's the exception rather than the rule. If you want to be successful, you have to come up with your 3 unique selling propositions in your business. It could be the longevity that you've had in the marketplace, your creative talent, and maybe you're on the cutting edge of new techniques. And then a good agency will take those 3 things and they'll figure out the best way to advertise them or to get that message out to the public.
Imagine moving into a sleepy coastal town right out of college, completely unaware it's about to explode into an international destination, and that you'll spend the next 4 decades helping to shape its story. She didn't just watch Southwest Florida grow, she wove herself into its fabric. While raising 5 children, she poured her heart into our community's most vital charities and took a massive leap of faith to build an award-winning agency right in her own backyard. But for me, she's much more than a successful CEO. She's a longtime family friend who knew my parents well during the early business building days of this city. Please welcome the founder and CEO of B Squared Advertising, Robin Bonnequest.
Took it down to 2 walls and then, did this.
Oh, so you didn't have to redo everything. If you kept 2 walls, you couldn't.
You could do pretty much what you wanted. You didn't have to go up or anything like that.
Yeah.
So anyway, and we lived there with the kids for almost 20 years before we sold that.
Because they were all Naples, right?
Yes,
Everybody went to Naples.
Yeah.
And then Alyssa has 1 or 2?
One,
She
a
has
little
1?
girl.
And who has the other kids?
Lainey, who's the youngest,
Okay.
has 2, a boy and a girl, and she's the one who lives here in Naples. She
Okay.
runs a preschool, actually 2 preschools, one on Livingston and the other one's out at Ave Maria.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And she has her own, and she does it. That's a big deal right now. Everybody needs to get into it. It's hard to find a spot for kids now.
It is, and DHS, is it DCF, makes it very difficult.
Is that why? Is that what it is?
Yeah, because their ratio has changed. And so you need more square footage per child. And
it's a space thing, not a people thing.
It's
Really?
a space thing, yeah. And so as you can imagine, in Naples, and you're renting space.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy.
Just
You can't do it.
exorbitant. Yeah. So, I mean, she does okay, but she's certainly not getting rich off of it.
Yeah. I know. No, it's hard to do anything here like that. I know the real estate makes it very tough, and then that's why the program has to be so expensive too, and it makes it hard for people to get in. Because of that. People who have kids, yeah. My wife works at Arthrex, and
is that right?
Yeah, they just built that a center for the employees there, a child care center for the.
They had talked to Lane about operating their child
really?
care center, yes, but she thought she was going to be losing too much control, so she turned it down. But
that's interesting that they were looking outside. I think that was smart because they're in the medical device business, not the child care business.
Of course, yeah.
So that they were trying to get some outside help. I wonder what they ended up doing anyway. I know everything they do is they have so much money. I mean, they have so much money that they just can do anything with. It's incredible.
What does your wife do for them?
She's a doctor that works in medical education. So she teaches the surgeons how to use the products.
Oh, cool.
So she works on cadavers and.
Oh, not cool.
Yeah, for her it's great because they don't talk back. She says it's
go.
a great patient to have. But that's her whole world. I remember going to a lab that she had because sometimes they'll do like a traveling lab. So I don't remember what city we were in. I went with her, and she had me bring some supplies in to the lab with her, which I thought I'm just carrying a box of devices or whatever it was. And we walk into the lab, and up on a tray table, kind of like we use to hold the hairspray and hair color, tray table was this human ass, literally, like it was a butt and a part of a leg. They were doing some procedure on that.
No kidding.
It was covered, but there was blood at the on the sheet of, And I looked at it, and I wasn't expecting to see that. They see it all the time, no
Of
big deal to
course.
them, but I was like, oh, wow. It really hit me because I know that's what they do, but to them, they're so desensitized to it all.
It's
But
just second nature
yeah,
to them.
yeah. But she's fascinated by the world of what they do. They're doing so much breakthrough stuff. Like
bet.
the work that they're doing and the amount of money they can invest in to these new technologies is just fascinating to her because it keeps them on the cutting edge. And they're doing a lot of stuff that they're trying to get into the medical world, but that medical world is so tough to navigate with insurances and all the rest of that.
Yeah.
So, but
How long have you been married now?
10. This will be our 11th. Oh, no, 10th year. 10th
Oh,
year,
no
yeah.
kidding.
Yeah,
Well, congrats.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I've just gotten really interested in documenting the good souls of this community. We have so many great people here, and so that's what I'm just been doing is just try to capture the goodness around us. The good people. So
We need that these days.
yeah. I'll focus more on what's working and not what's not working. That stuff gets more views, but it doesn't matter. But to always have this is nice. So I married 11 years. Yeah, married 10 years. And well, I wasn't going to get remarried because my father, he had always said, after I got divorced, he said, "You're not getting married again, right?" It wasn't a question. It was like an Italian father saying, "You're going to do what I tell you, right?" Like, you're not getting married again, right? And I said, "No, Dad, I won't be getting married. I'm fine. Everything's great. I don't need to. I'm good." And then I had been going to the gym, and this girl was talking to me a lot from the gym. This beautiful girl, and I thought, she's talking to me. She's just really, very friendly. And she feels sorry for me at the gym because I'm not very good at everything here. And she was real athletic. And he was sick at the time. This was like 2014. He had he had a lot of stuff wrong, but at the time he wasn't doing well. And he said, "What's going on with you?" I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Something's up with you." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "You got a girl or something." I said, "She's a friend. She's a friend." And we had been hanging out and sort of secretly dating. And he said, "I want to meet her." And at the time, he was in that still house, that Vanderbilt house, that same one, and still smoking.
Oh,
and with oxygen, while he's got oxygen, and he's still smoking. And I said, "Dad, I can't bring her here. She'll get sick. Because she's allergic to the smoke." He said, I'll clean it up. I won't smoke." He said, "I'll get it ready." So he literally had the house cleaned. He opened it all up, and he cooked this incredible, he was a great cook.
Oh, yeah,
right?
he was.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Cooked this incredible meal. And we had it on the deck, and he had this like old 50s music on, like as if he were courting her.
Oh, no kidding.
It was a beautiful night. Yeah, it was a beautiful
night. Oh, my gosh.
And
what a great memory.
it was perfect. And the next day he said, "When are you putting a ring on her?"
No way.
Yeah. And then a month later he passed, right after that. So
Wow.
it was such a good, full circle completion. Get his blessing. And then, in fact, she was there. She was there the night that we knew, Dr. Smano was there, and, he was always involved. But the night that he did pass, she was there and got to send him off to heaven together. And, yeah, it was nice. So
that's a nice memory.
Yeah. So I'm grateful to Reinhold, the owner of Arthrex, because he hired her, to be here that many years ago. And he was getting his haircut at the salon a couple years ago, and he went to pay. And I said, "Reinhold, this one's on me. It's my treat, because if you didn't have your company, I wouldn't have my wife, who I am madly in love with and who's a soulmate to me." And he said, "Well, I can cover it." I'm like, "Yeah, I know you can cover it."
Yeah, you think?
I've been grateful to him and to her, especially because she's just been a blessing in my life. The second half, of life, she's been really great for me.
Neat.
So
Good for you.
Yeah, thanks.
You deserve happiness.
Thank you. Yeah. So that's what's been happening in my life. And actually, we are doing IVF and working on having a child.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah. So I love kids, and I'm a little more sane now than I was back in the day. Anyway, I think. Anyway,
Aren't
maybe
we all as we get older?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. So that's my latest story on what's going on in my life. And then as I don't run into people. I hear about people every now and then, but I don't run into people. And I just especially when I saw your name, it was like, gosh, you know so much of the fiber of this community because there's nothing you've not been involved in. You've just been involved in so much.
Yes, true.
So many
True.
organizations and so many people, and have such a grip on the history in this town and who.
Yeah, I was
players
on
are.
my way down here. I was thinking about it. I've been here for 45 years now because I moved here right out of college.
Yeah.
And so, as you can imagine, back in the day when the only vehicles you ever saw were white Cadillacs and white Lincoln Town cars.
Yes. Yeah, it was before cars were cars, like
Yeah.
before Mercedes even. Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right.
Like Mercedes just had started trickling in. I remember my dad buying a Mercedes, and the accountant was like, he was like, I want to put in the business thing. I said, what do you need a Mercedes and a hair salon for? He said, well, I have to park it on the corner, and everybody comes out of Port Royal, and they see
There you go.
yeah. And then, yeah. So you've seen every ounce of the growth and the legends and who are some of the people that you think played a big role in having Naples be what Naples
Well, your
is?
parents, and I'm not just blowing smoke here. I mean, they were, your parents were just awesome. And when I think about all the times that we spent together, I was a kid when I moved here. I
Yeah.
was 23 years old.
Yeah.
And then people like, I don't know if you remember Glenna Hayhoe, that she founded Planned Parenthood along with Betty Butcher.
Okay.
And that happened when I lived here. I don't think I was still at the newspaper then. I think I had left the newspaper. But all those people that I ran across when I worked at the Naples Daily News, John Lunsford.
Oh,
the
Lunsford. Oh
columnist.
my gosh.
Remember
Yeah, I
him?
remember him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was a great friend and such
Yeah.
a good guy.
I loved his stuff. I love what he wrote about.
Yeah, he
I
was
loved it.
always pushing the envelope.
Yeah.
Always
He just had a way of right in
tweaking
the edge.
some
Yeah, I loved
county
it.
commissioner
I love
or
that. Yeah.
city councilman.
Yeah. Whoa, totally forgot about that name. Yeah, John. Well, you had all the connections. The paper was, you were in media when, that was everything. That was
When I moved down here, I took the job as editor of what is now called the Neapolitan section. It used to be Family Living. And I was offered the job after I had flown down here, interviewed for the position, and about a week or so later, they offered me the job, only to follow it up 2 weeks later with rescinding my offer. And because the publisher thought I was too young to be an editor. But by that time, I had already gotten a moving van. I had already resigned my position at the newspaper in New York State.
Wow.
And so I just, when the editor called to tell me this, I just broke out in tears. And I said, you can't do this to me. I've completely upended my life to move to Naples, Florida. And I guess he, convinced the publisher that maybe I wasn't going to be so bad after all.
Oh, wow. So they could say then at that time, you're too young.
Exactly. I don't think they could do that today.
Exactly. Well, I didn't know this story. That's cool. And so then you, what was that like acclimating from, this podunk village? Naples was, just.
Well, I moved from a really small town. I was living in Jamestown, New York, which is just south of Buffalo, and it was a tiny little town, population of 30,000 people. And the newspaper was actually smaller than the Naples Daily News because I was an associate editor there.
Okay.
And then, took this position with the Naples Daily News. And obviously, Naples was tiny compared to what it is today, but I loved it. It was, I met a great group of friends at the newspaper, and it kind of mushroomed from there.
Yeah.
And I was only there 4 years before I left, but I made all
You were only
kinds.
there 4 years?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I left there and I went to work for Marine Savings and Loan, if you remember that bank in town, as their marketing director. And then from there, went to work for Weeks and Her Advertising on Marco Island, and then that was the start of my advertising career.
Oh, okay.
So,
and which other publications were you? So you weren't, no other publications, it was all advertising.
no, it was after the Naples Daily News, then it was the bank, and then it was working for, first Weeks and Her. And I took a position as a regional president for an agency out of the East Coast, out of Miami. And I only did that for about a year and a half. They were shall we say, less than honorable people.
Oh, yeah.
And that's when I decided to go out on my own and open my own agency, which I've had for 25 years this year.
Oh, one, you did that. Yeah, 2001 was the year? What year did you
Yeah, I
start
opened
that?
it in 2001.
2001.
Yep.
How did you make the pivot from editing to advertising? What was that?
I just fell into it. When I was working for the bank as their marketing director, Weeks and Her was the agency of record for them. And the bank got bought out by a large S&L out of Clearwater, and I was doing, I was a marketing, I can't even remember what my position was, some kind of marketing director for them. But that's when I had Alyssa, and she was little. She was only a year and a half, 2 years old, and I was traveling.
What year was she born?
She was born in 86.
6, okay.
86.
Okay.
And so I was traveling all over the state of Florida because my territory was everything from St. Petersburg down through Marco Island and then on the East Coast up to Boca Raton. So I was just on the road all the time, and it was too much. So the agency that had the savings and loan before it was bought out, which was the company from Marco, offered me a job as an account executive. Which I was terrified of because it was sales. And I thought, oh my goodness, I would be terrible at sales.
Yeah.
But it turned out I wasn't terrible. And I was with them. That was my longest stint other than my own company. I was there for 12 years.
And so sales for them was, you were selling B2B or you were selling to like?
No, I was going out and finding like developers or you know, businesses like yourself, you know, to convince them that they needed us to do their advertising.
The agency. Okay.
Yes, correct.
Okay. So you were doing this traveling like Alligator Alley was still Alligator Alley at the time, right?
Yeah.
When you had to go across the other coast you had to go to?
Yes. It was not the
just
funnest of trips.
No, that road was terrifying. Yeah. Before they built it out. Yeah. So then you, were you living on Marco then, or did you just drive
No,
in?
I was commuting every day from Naples, you know, which was also a real treat because that was only a 2-lane road.
Oh, to get into Marco. That's
Yes,
right. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah,
and then
that's
they started, you know, doing the 4-lane, and of course it was shut down all the time. And
Yeah.
that was right when cell phones came out or car phones.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I got a car phone, and it was glorious because when I was stuck in traffic for, you know, a half an hour, I would just reach out and call my parents, call my grandparents, you know, whoever I could get a hold of.
Yeah, because you were so much time in the car. Yeah,
Yes.
I remember that.
Correct.
I remember when Dad got his first cell phone, and what a cool thing that was. That was just so amazing. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, remember it was on the little pedestal,
Yeah,
you know,
it had to
little
be
stand.
installed in the car. Yeah, the transmitter had to go under the seat, and it was such a big deal. And it was $1 a minute or 70 cents or whatever. You got so many minutes.
Exactly.
Really
Exactly.
to use it. Yeah. So Marco, for how long?
Marco for 12 years. And then when I took that job as a regional president for the agency out of Miami, they moved me to Naples in an office downtown. And I was there for a year and a half. And then I had met this guy who was a creative director from Indiana, and he had come down to Naples, and he was like the hottest thing since sliced bread. Everybody talked about this guy and how wildly creative he was. And I had met him, and we'd become friendly. And we were, at one point, we were going to open a magazine together. And then we decided that was foolhardy because there were too many magazines in Naples. Then we were going to open up a company to build websites. Neither one of us had any background in that. So that seemed rather foolish.
Yeah.
And we finally left it that if I was going to make a move, or he was a one-man band at that point, we would let each other know. And when I left the company from Miami, I called him one day and I said, listen, I'm going to do this on my own. I'd love to do it with you, but if the timing's not right, I totally understand. And so we opened up the company not long after that.
Is that Burl?
Yeah, yeah. And we were partners for probably 12 or 13 years, but he had a lot of personal problems. He had demons, and his demons got the better of him. And so we parted ways. And then the poor guy, he shot himself but didn't kill himself.
Oh, no.
And lived as a vegetable for 2 years.
Oh,
it was
no.
just awful, awful.
Wow.
And such a waste because, like I said, I've never met to this day anyone
Talented.
as brilliant as he was.
Yeah.
He was just head and shoulders. And he was one of those guys that, I mean, creative speaks for itself, but he also had a very sound business mind. And a lot of creatives aren't like
My
that.
father. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, they don't usually have both.
No,
Yeah.
no. And he was a mixture of both. But for the demons in him, we probably would still be partners.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, that's something I know there's so many like that, so gifted, so talented, but they also, many of them have those demons like that.
Yeah.
When they have that much of a gift. Yeah, because Dad fought that for a long time, but another one who was like that. What was it about him that, for that era of creativity, what was it that he brought?
would come up, back then the internet was just coming on the scene, so we weren't worried too much about website development or any of the digital vehicles that are out there today. He was mostly a print guy and television and radio too, but print was really his strong point. And he would just come up with the most out of the box, ads, but they were spot on in terms of the business strategy behind them.
Yeah.
So it was fascinating to see the way his mind worked. I mean, he'd work at his computer, he'd spit something out, on the printer, and then he'd go outside and analyze it over a cigarette. That was how he rewarded himself.
Yeah.
But yeah, just wildly creative, wildly successful back in the day.
And back when you really had to create because there was not as many tools as there are now to create. Creativity had to come from nothing. Blank slate was blank slate.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
And he passed in 2016?
He died, I'm trying to think. He's probably been gone now about, I'm guessing, 6 to 8 years.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure exactly.
But he wasn't a Naples guy originally.
No, he came here from Indiana.
Okay.
He and his wife came here from Indiana together. And they ended up getting separated for the same reasons that we got separated. And he moved back to Indiana because he had two daughters who lived there.
Okay.
And that's where, unfortunately, he ultimately passed away.
Yeah. What were, when you got into the account executive world, what were some of the accounts you remember in the beginning, like your first?
I remember the ones that
pitch.
made me cry.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, really?
Yes, there's one
Not tears of
gentleman
joy.
who's still in Naples. I won't name his name, but yes, he brought actually two who brought me to tears just because they, their delivery was kind of mean and nasty. But I mean, we've had some great clients over the years. We did a lot of work with Jack Antaramian, who's not with us anymore.
Yeah.
Did all of his advertising and marketing. And actually, he was a client of mine when I worked for Weeks and Her on Marco, because he was originally a Marco
He started
guy.
Marco, that's
Yep.
right. Then he came over here and did
and then
Fifth.
he came
and
up to Naples and did
Yeah.
Fifth Avenue.
Yeah.
We did a lot of great stuff for him. He really had a great appreciation for Burrell's talents and abilities. And even today, like even though Burrell's not with me anymore, and the creative direction, I mean, it's good. It's not wildly as good as it used to be when Burrell was here, but we're able to do some really, fun, creative stuff. We've been a client of, or they've been a client of ours of Suave, and I don't know if you know Dick Corus. He's with them,
Okay.
and we've had their account for over 10 years now, which is unheard of in our industry.
Really? Yeah.
Generally, it's a 2-year stint.
Oh,
An
okay.
agency will have a client for 2 years, and then either sales are down or they just want the the newest shiniest penny on the block. But anyway, they've been a client for 10 years, and their sales and marketing director, their VP, kind of lets us do what we want within reason, of course, but
Yeah.
we've had great success with them.
Well, how have you been able to evolve? I mean, because the time span of the last 25 years have been incredibly hard for a lot of reasons, especially in this market. It's been hurricanes and pandemics and recessions and then internet and then AI and just like so many things that have made it, some ways people say good for business, but some ways it's been a challenge for business too.
Yeah, it was like when the internet first came on the scene, we outsourced all of our digital stuff that we did. And we did that for almost 5 years until I finally figured out, there's money to be made here and you can't really make it for yourself when you're outsourcing it. And so we made the decision to bring it in-house at that point. But I tell people all the time, the way I've survived is I just keep hiring younger people.
That's great. What about, well, I remember the worst. The first one was worse because we had a lot of hurricanes over the years that never did much, and they always threatened that, this is the one, get ready. And then we had Irma, which was scary because we didn't know the first few days after. I mean, it didn't do what Ian did, but we still didn't know. Those first few days was tough to know what's life going to be like. And then pandemic, and then Ian, and then, just like these blows to everything, like the pandemic too.
Yeah. It's funny. The pandemic, hit us for a little while, but, Florida didn't really shut down. We were shut
lucky.
down for 3-4 weeks, and then we opened back up again. So, and then, of course, and I do so much in the real estate and development arena, and you know what that did during COVID. It just skyrocketed.
Yeah.
So we expected the worst when the pandemic hit, and it, turned out to be kind of a nothing thing.
Yeah.
And same for hurricanes didn't really affect us too terribly. What really affected us was the recession in, 07, 08, 09.
Right.
During those 3 years, my revenues in 1 year dropped 75%. And I had to lay off half of my team and, and really struggle to survive.
Yeah.
And had it not been for pumping my own personal money into the business, I don't know that we would have. But we were fortunate enough we came out the other end. And it was funny, before the recession, we would never take on a client that didn't have $250,000 a year or more to spend. And after the recession, it was like, oh, you need a brochure? I can do that. We kind of learned that we couldn't afford to be that picky in today's world.
Yeah. But getting through those times, going through, having to lay people off, that's just
that's heartbreaking.
Yeah,
it is.
Nothing you can do, but you got to do it to survive. You got to get through it. Yeah, I think anybody who's made it through that, that was another tough one. I forgot about that. How could I forget? This area was like, wow, all the empty houses. And,
I know. Yeah. We should have seen the handwriting on the wall when my housekeeper was buying lots in Lehigh.
Right. Yeah. You go to somebody at Publix and they hand you the cashier's handing you their business card. Yeah. I know that time period. Who else? What were some of the restaurants that you remember in Naples that were charming Naples ones?
Well, St. George and the Dragon. How could we forget that one?
Yeah.
That was, a fave. What were the two that were down where the Hyatt is now? Versailles and Mason Jar. Do you remember those?
Yeah. Versailles, Mason Jar. Oh, yeah.
Mason Jar for the happy
side.
hour.
Yes.
Versailles for the fine dining.
I forgot about the Versailles part. Yeah, Mason Jar. Yeah, that was a drinking place too. It became like a bar. Yeah.
And of course, Pate's.
Oh, yeah.
When it was on Fifth Avenue.
Yeah, Pate's. Forgot about that one too.
And even, we used to take the kids there all the time. Pippin's.
Oh, yeah. Denny Phillips.
With the salad bar.
Yes. Yeah.
The unending salad bar.
Yeah, he had the salad bar there, and then the pewter mug had the salad bar up there. With Jimmy Kaiser. Yeah. For pewter mug, which the building is still there. The pewter mug. Well, the pewter mug is still there. And
it's up the street in a little strip center now.
I ate there not long ago.
And I've heard that they're going to redo, or somebody's going to redo Pewter Mug and reopen it.
Oh, really? That building there?
Yeah, that's what I heard. I haven't seen any activity there driving by, but that's the rumor.
It's amazing to me that these, like that Kelly's roast beef, it's a chain.
Oh, yeah.
Build out these big buildings and do a credible build out, and they were gone in 6 months or 7 months.
Well,
or something.
We were just talking about that this weekend. If you think about like that Uncle Julio's, at Coastland Center and Bahama Breeze. And like, what the heck?
I have that kind of money to just say we're just going to, and we don't even have enough money to carry it for a year or two. Like,
I know.
Just gone.
I know. When you think about the millions of dollars that went into building those places, it's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, that one and both those Kelly's restaurants. I mean, I've seen a lot of restaurants come and go, but those are the big names. Do you remember Truffles in Chef's Garden?
Oh, yeah.
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 And
Yeah,
what was
upstairs.
it up on the North Trail? Plums?
Oh, right. Their version up there. Yeah. Yeah. Plums and,
There was another one. Starts with a V.
was Vivinette, not Vivinette.
Yeah,
was
something like that.
Vivinettos or something?
Vivanetto. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, because there were, where Mercado is, I guess, right? Is that where that was? Or
Yeah, it was on the corner of
Vanderbilt and
41. And is it Vanderbilt? Yeah, I think you're
Yeah.
right. I think it was up in that area.
Yeah.
We've been fortunate over the years. I mean, Naples, for a small little town, has had a lot of great restaurants.
Oh, yeah.
You know, some have come and gone, but others are still here.
Yeah. Yeah. Or they evolve and
Mm-hmm.
come out of something new. Yeah. Yeah. What do you think Naples has gained and lost over time?
Well, because I'm involved in the real estate and, building industry, I don't have any problem with development in Naples. And I think Naples has done a great job of managing that growth.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't look like Miami, and we don't look like, any
Right.
of the other big cities that you think about with the skyscrapers. So I think they've done a really, really good job there.
Yeah.
I do miss, the smaller town feel, like when I used to run around with your mom and dad. It was a different feeling then.
Yeah.
I mean, I can go to a restaurant today and not know a soul in the restaurant.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
back in the day, that just didn't happen.
No, you couldn't.
You knew
yeah.
at least 10 or 12 people in
Always.
every place you went.
Yeah.
So I do kind of miss that.
Yeah.
But I think, I think we've gained a lot. What we've gained in terms of diversity of restaurants and shopping and all of that, and even the real estate, I think has been a good thing.
Yeah. What do you think had the biggest impact on the growth or the desire for Naples?
Everything's on the water. So development it was a no-brainer. And that's definitely what's fueled the growth in Naples, has been the real estate development. I mean, if you think about when I first moved here in the early 80s, you could buy a lot in Port Royal for less than $30,000.
Doesn't that hurt? I hate hearing
I know.
that. That's so painful
I
to
know.
me. Oh, gosh, I hate that.
Yeah, it's crazy when you think about it.
Yeah. Oh, we have some old Naples Daily News ads for lots in Port Royal for around that. And I just look and go,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
So-
And when I worked at the bank, when I worked at the bank at Marine Savings, they would not loan on waterfront land on Marco because it was a bad investment. And those lots were going for $8,000.
Oh, my gosh.
With direct access.
Wow. It's a bad investment, they said, right?
Yes,
Oh,
exactly.
thanks. Oh my gosh. I remember I got a job at the Ramada Inn, which was on Vanderbilt next to Wiggins Pass Park. When we moved here in 77, washing dishes, and I had money for my $2.75 an hour that I didn't have any because I was 12 at the time, so I didn't have anywhere to put the money. I guess that's illegal now to work at 12. But
Yeah, I think so.
lied, right? But my dad wanted me out of the house, and he said, if you want something, you got to buy it yourself. So go work. So I didn't have anything to do with the money. So the realtor who sold us our house said, oh, well, there's these lots which is now like Logan Estates or something there, which was, like almost felt like you're going to Fort Lauderdale, right there. Because anything past Airport Road was nothing. And I bought this lot for $3,000. And then when I turned 16, I wanted a car. So sold the lot and, bought a 77 Monte Carlo.
Oh,
instead
no
of that.
kidding.
Yeah, like an
I
idiot.
wonder what that would be worth
I
now.
don't even want to know.
Yeah,
I know.
don't go there.
I know,
You'll
I
just
can't.
depress yourself.
I know. But it happens like every 5 years. You go, oh, this property's that. Well, that sounds like a lot. But then you see what it is in 5 more years, and you go, oh my gosh, it just never stops because this is paradise. It's so hard for me to go on vacation sometimes because this is like such a Pleasantville. It's always been, even with everything, it's still Pleasantville.
It's a nice place to come home to. That's for darn sure.
Yeah, everything
Yeah.
about it is so, and a bigger appreciation for it, especially after COVID. The fact that we didn't have to close down, that we could do what we wanted to do, and that was
Absolutely
a wonderful thing. So I'm happy Dad moved us here when he did, and even
How
though
old were you guys when you came?
12 it was 1977, the year Elvis died. I remember listening to that in the motorhome on the way here to Florida because we had to sell everything we had. We had a garage sale up there. Anything you owned, I had a record collection or whatever I had. We couldn't take it in the motorhome. Everything had to fit in the motorhome. Yeah.
Wow.
So we came here in the 31-foot Vogue motorhome, a chocolate poodle, standard poodle, moose, like chocolate mousse, and Abigail the cat, and my two sisters living in that for 6 months at Caribbean Trailer Park.
No kidding, is that right?
There. Yeah, yeah.
And did he open up Robert of Philadelphia right when he came
No,
down?
he did not want. He didn't want anything to do with the salon. We didn't want to own one.
Okay.
He just wanted to work, and the reason why he came to Florida, he wanted to fish and hunt. He wanted to do what he loved to do. He wanted to leave at 5, not have a headache. And he was worked on Fifth for a little while at Headhunters, I think it was called, or Heads Above All, one of those two. And that's where the name. There was Bob Green who was there. So there were two Roberts that were there. And the one, they would say, which Robert do you want? The one of Ohio or the one of Philadelphia? And that's where the Robert of
hilarious.
Philadelphia
No
came.
kidding.
Yeah.
I had no idea where that came from.
Yeah. So that's how they knew the difference. And then he left there, and that's when Eva Kovacs, she was the...
how do I know that name?
She had the modeling studio, esthetician. Like before spas were spas, she kind of was on that trend there. And opened that up, and he did the hair side of that spot, but she wasn't real good at managing the funds. And FPL, he said, would come to shut off the power a lot of times. So he had to take money out of the drawer. So he saw the handwriting on the wall, and then, but he didn't want to do a salon. But at that point, he was kind of had to because he needed to work somewhere. Mm-hmm. And Carlo Paterno, who owned the corner building where Marisha's and where Alyssa got her first haircut, loved my mom. This old Italian man who loved my mom, and she sort of wooed him, charmed him, into giving this tiny little. It was like a 3-page lease, and they had no credit, they had no history. I mean, interest rates were what 17%.
Oh yes,
crazy at the time. They had no money, no credit, and they had no money to build it out. And Carlo Paterno gave them a blank check and said, pay me when you can to build it out.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And then he opened it right away with just a chair and a card table that they had in there with the thing. But on that corner building was, and he didn't want to do it, but he had to. He felt like he had to anyway. So he was still able to do what he was able to do because he loved sitting in that corner window there, peering out over Third, Broad and Third, and seeing everybody drive by, seeing Dewey Gargiulo drive by in the morning, his buddies. And so and then we left the trailer park to move to Vanderbilt Beach, which was like almost Fort Myers and that time. Anything north of Pine Ridge Road was way the heck out there. So, and that Stilt house, which was on the water, so he could go fishing and all the rest of that. So. And, that was the pre Pelican Bay, pre all that, everything. There was nothing there.
Unbelievable.
At the time. Yeah. Yeah. Just as much as we all saw who's here during that time. And then Baron Collier was the first opened right as I went into high school. So that was like the first, I was the first 4-year class to go through Baron Collier at that time. Yeah. So then I couldn't wait to leave Naples. Couldn't wait to get out of here.
Did you?
Left for school.
Oh, okay.
And then worked for a little while at the Space Center. It wasn't directly at the Space Center. We were working for a company that was a contractor with the Space Center, and then the shuttle blew up. So then Dad had bugged me forever to come into the business, and I wanted nothing to do with it. I didn't want anything to do with it. But to get him off my back, and I didn't have a job anyway, I came back in 86 the year.
Was that right?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Came back in. I remember that vividly, that haircut that she got, and Don and Ron Avola, Don, and that original crew.
Ron, I forgot about him.
Yeah, Ron. Yeah. Boston Ron, yeah. He's still alive, actually.
Is that right?
Yeah, I saw him a couple years ago at a Naples High wrestling match. Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah. I think his grandkids were wrestling. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. His grandkids were wrestling, yeah. Yeah, one of the old, and Don was there. Don Antonacchio was there. Do you remember Don?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, he was there too. Some of the old school old timers. What are some current restaurants that are on your list that you?
Our all-time fave is Blue Provence. We love good wine, and they've got a fabulous wine cellar. The owners, Jacques and Lisielle Carriot, retired last year, and their sons are running the restaurant, but they brought back a chef that they had for years who had left and gone to back to France because I think his mother was ill. Anyway, he's back now as their head chef, and the food's wonderful. The ambiance is just.
Is that down at 12th?
That's down by the dock.
By the
restaurant.
dock, yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's
where it's always
probably one of our all-time favorite restaurants. But there's so many good ones when you think about Sea Salt and Barbatella and, just in the Continental. And, they're just all over the place.
Yeah.
There's no Ridgeways.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yep.
God bless Tony.
I know.
He's still there
Still
plugging
going
away.
at it. I know.
Every time I go in there, I see him there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. He's somebody we've been bugging to try to talk to him. Like, I gotta.
I'm surprised he wouldn't do it.
I think he kind of keeps saying soon or something soon. He just kind of put it off a couple of times. I know.
Yeah,
Lisa cuts his hair still, and we got to get him in here. And who I haven't seen in a while is Bill Barnett. I haven't seen Bill in a while.
I haven't seen him in a while either. I used to see him all the time at Cosmo's restaurant.
Oh, the Italian.
The little place on 41.
Yeah.
Like on 41 and 4th, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
They've got great food there, and I would see him and Chris there every once in a while, but I haven't seen them for a while either.
No, I haven't either. I saw him a couple times at the poker room. I know he liked to play poker. I'd see him at
Of course he did.
Yeah. And I have I do have, Zach, I just remembered this. I have a video of everybody at Mom and Dad's house for a dinner, and the Barnetts are there, and you guys are there, and Bill's telling stories. Classic Bill on the back deck there telling stories.
Of course, yeah.
And Dad's cooking some seafood thing with a cigarette in his mouth, like he always did. And I was like, Dad, look, what are you doing? Like, is the ashes dripping in the food part of the flavor that you give?
Yes, exactly.
He just always had a cigarette. Unapologetically,
yes.
too. He just never...
Yep, that was just him.
Yep.
That was just him.
All the way. Even when they banned smoking from salons, because he would smoke in it when they didn't, and just imagine that, like just smoking everywhere, and he would smoke right in their, whoever the client was, it didn't matter to him. If you want a great haircut, it's okay. You're gonna have to deal with my smoke too.
Yeah, it was a different way of life back then.
Yeah,
for sure.
Even the hospitals you could smoke in, because Mom had. She was out. They were out to dinner. The Spanos.
Mm-hmm.
And the Sexton, David and Patty Sexton, they were all out to dinner, and they got up to leave. I think they were Chow. Remember Chow, the Italian restaurant?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. And the Spanos were going one way. Mom went another way, and I don't know whether it was on Central or wherever. She looks down for a second, looks back up, and the light had turned red. She went through the light and hit Joe Spano.
I remember when that happened. Remember that? Yes, yeah. I do.
And he was in the hospital in bad shape for a while on whatever floor there. And they were smoking. I remember they were smoking, visiting him.
Oh, my gosh. No kidding.
So after that time, every time they went out to dinner after that, David Sexton would say, I'm going to head out a little early. I'm going to leave the dinner a little early. So before Marlene leaves.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of the classic ones.
I was just trying to remember Dave's last name last night. I met an attorney who's with Bond, Shennick, and King.
Yeah.
And I knew that was Dave's firm.
Yeah.
And I said, there's a guy, used to live in Port Royal. He was with Bond, Shennick, and King. His first name was Dave. His wife's name was Patty. And I cannot for the life of me remember his last name.
Yeah.
Now I know.
Yeah. He's the OG. Yeah. He's the original one. And the four of them because they were on the second floor of that building there.
Yep.
And Bruce D., the accountant, and Mercer's was there, and the men's clothing store, Mark Chrisman. But it was Chris Howard. Chris Howard, yeah.
What a wild man he
wow,
was. Oh,
wow,
my goodness.
No kidding, right?
I wonder if he's still alive.
I wonder, too. I heard of him probably in the last 10 years. I don't know if I ended up on the phone with him or somebody told me. Yeah. Yeah, that he was up there. North Carolina, I think, is where he was originally from, and
Oh,
went
okay.
back there. But yeah, he was a character and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember Jerry telling me a story that he was in the car with Chris Howard. Chris was a passenger. Jerry was driving, and they were getting held up somewhere. And Chris says, "Take him on the right. Take him on the right." And Jerry said, "That's why I still have a driver's license and you do
He
not."
never did. No,
Yeah.
I know. I know. I don't know how he lived through all that the way he did.
I know. Yeah. Talk about a wild man.
Yeah. Even my dad, like, I don't know how he never got killed or killed somebody, because they would drive wasted.
Yeah,
Like
I
from
know. And
downtown
again, a
Naples.
different time.
Yeah.
Totally different time.
Yeah. Well, they were, God bless them with some luck, because they didn't,
Yes.
nothing ever happened. There was no Uber or anything like that because that's right. Because Chris Howard couldn't drive it forever. I didn't know him being able to drive most
Yes,
of the time.
as
I knew
long
him.
as I knew him, he wasn't able to
couldn't.
drive.
Yeah,
No.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd forgotten that name too. I just got back. I went to Virginia for literally one day. The guy who hired me at the Ramada Inn, David Boyd is his name, and he, when I was 12, I lied about my age, and he hired me to wash dishes at the Ramada, and used to put me up on these crates so I could reach the dishwasher because I wasn't tall enough.
Oh, how funny.
Calls me the Munchkin. And he has stayed with me through my life, in either by phone. We haven't seen each other for 30-something years. But he's always kind of been a mentor to me. And I got a message last week that he was in hospice. So my wife said, you need to go see him and thank him for the life, because he shaped me in a lot of ways.
No
for who I am.
kidding.
Yeah. So I flew to Richmond and then drove to Charlottesville and spent an afternoon with him to
Wow.
love on him and thank him for the gifts that he gave me in life. It was beautiful.
Well, it was
Really
good
nice.
that you did that. A lot of people wouldn't, make that trek. So
Yeah.
says a lot about you.
felt lucky to just be able to do it, because he had a really big impact on me, my life. And I just never, I've probably said it to him over time, but just wanted to see him and let him know that,
Yeah.
he was
that's awesome.
that was neat. So that was Virginia, where we were talking about earlier because of the Charlottesville and that area. And you say your daughter might want to go there?
Yeah,
You'd like her to
probably
go?
Southern Virginia, because that's where her husband's family is
Oh,
from.
they're from there? Okay, yeah. Yeah, so that was my, took me back to the roots again anyway, of Naples and all the rest of
I'm
that.
sure.
So you're a grandmother of three.
2 girls and a boy, 2 3-year-old little girls, and a 1.5-year-old wild maniac little boy.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Isn't that boy's job?
Yes,
Isn't it?
I
Yeah,
think so.
yeah,
I think so.
And anybody do or possibly do, or anybody in the marriage stage?
If you remember JR, who was my middle one,
Yeah.
he just got married after a 7-year engagement. He just got married in October.
They were engaged for 7 years.
7 years.
Wow.
Together for 9,
Wow.
engaged for 7. And they just got married up in Fort Myers in October of this past year. I think they want to start having children sooner rather than later, because he's going to be 36 this year and she's 32. So they're talking about it. Yeah. And then my other son, Jay, the one that's the same age as JR, he's been married now for about 3 years. And I think they're working on it as well.
Yeah.
And then Deke, who's I don't know if you remember him. Well,
Of
that's
course.
who was buying the car.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But I remember him little, like a long time ago, little, and then I saw him as a grown man.
So
yeah.
he's 32 now. I think, I don't know. He says he wants to get married when he's 35. Where that came from, I have no idea. So no grandbabies there anyway. And he's just, traveling all over the world, and he's
more of the freer spirit.
Yes, very much so.
My son was telling me, yeah.
Yeah, very much so. Like he was on a reality TV show. He was on Temptation Island, as a bachelor. Yeah.
Really? I didn't know
And
that.
he's been an influencer, and now he's got a real job and making pretty good money. So he lives in Miami.
Oh, he's in Miami. That suits him, I guess. Then,
Yes,
huh?
it does. At least for now, anyway.
Yeah. Was he doing something with cars, or was he, or just
He just was buying and selling them like crazy.
Is that what it was?
I mean,
Yeah.
I think in a 2 or 3 year span, he bought and sold 9 cars. He would buy them, he'd put some money into them, and then he'd sell them and move on to something else.
That entrepreneurial spirit in him, like that freedom. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, whatever this car was that my son was looking at was really cool. Like he had done some things to it that were fun. You know, I
Yeah,
was like,
that sounds like Deke.
yeah, yeah. And he played football too. Did he play football?
Yes. So Jay and JR were on the Naples High football team that was undefeated and won the state championship.
Oh, no
and that
kidding.
was in, I can't even remember when that was. 2007 was the year that they won the state championship. And then Deke also played football for Naples High School 3 years later. They didn't do quite as well, but Naples was always such
they
a
still
powerhouse.
are. They still are. I know. They just never. Barron has never been that. We've always been their stepchild.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
If you were ever to go on Facebook and look up JR, he trolls them mercilessly during football season.
They've earned the right. They
Yeah.
can do it for life. Yeah. The only game. So I didn't play football. I wrestled, but the only game of the year that because we were the first 3 years, I think we won 2 games, but there was a Naples. Our home games were at Naples Field because we didn't have a field.
Oh,
So
right.
when we played Naples, it was always at their field, and they were great as they always are, and it was the closest game because I think we lost by like an extra point. This guy Phil Manhart, who I'll give
I remember
hell
him.
to for the rest of my life, dropped the extra point. The 2-point conversion, whatever it was, he dropped a potential go-ahead thing. So Phil will never live that down. So because we could have beaten Naples, but we didn't.
No.
So I forever give Phil a hard time about that because Naples was just our nemesis always. They just always got us and still are. Like Naples has just got us.
JR had a running bet with my former sister-in-law because she was a Barron grad, and then JR, of course, being a Naples guy. It was $1,000 that Barron would beat Naples that year, and never won. I mean, Barron never beat Naples.
No, no matter what.
JR tried to collect his money, all day long, but I wouldn't let her pay him.
Yeah, that's just a bet I would never take, no matter what the years are. Right?
No.
Different coaches, different years. Just the coach now is the city councilor now, right? Kramer.
Yeah,
used to
Kramer.
be the city.
Yeah, he retired from coaching, but not from teaching a few years ago.
Okay.
And then he ran for city council last year or the year before and won.
Why would somebody do that?
I don't know. Heavens only knows. Yeah, not my cup of tea.
No way. I don't know. Yeah, it takes a special breed to do that. Yeah, because people get so passionately indignant about things and
they do.
Just tear you apart no matter what.
Yep,
and
they do.
Why would you do that?
And there's such a sense, and I'm sure it's like this everywhere, but this, NIMBY, not in my backyard.
Yeah.
I live here now, but, God forbid anybody else moves to Naples.
Yeah.
That kind of attitude.
Right. And dealing with all that, I wouldn't want that, none of that at all. But I said, Bill's somebody who I have to look at because I'd love to talk to Bill. I'd love to get Bill, kind of get his story about Naples and just hear.
Have you had him on?
I haven't. That's who
He would be a great
I know.
one.
Just it came up, and I'm thinking of him because he was really through it all, through a lot of stuff, and he did the same thing. Good politics, but he's good for that though. Bill he was cut out for politics.
He really was.
He was great at that.
He really was. I think had his family not put their foot down, I think he'd keep on running.
I know. He just never got enough.
No, I know. I know.
But Zach, you'll have to see this dinner because it really embodies this. I don't know who was filming, but the camera's on through most of the dinner.
Is that right?
Yeah, on that back deck in it's got to be 80s. Yeah, somewhere in that time period where the puppies, everybody had those Tish and Johan Creek.
Oh, yeah, we had one of those.
Did you get one of those? Yeah.
We had a Lhasa. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the losses, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Gucci and Carmela and Peanut were some of the ones that Mom and Dad got. That were the 3 that they got.
I remember that. Yeah.
We have a puppy party there, all the puppies over. Yeah. That's on video too. Yeah. You guys
How fun.
Mm-hmm. So what would you say how the industry, like advertising, marketing, what's the difference in those two, first of all?
I mean, I lump them in the same category.
Yeah.
Sometimes people think of marketing more as the actual selling of something.
Okay.
But when I describe, my company, I say we're an advertising and marketing firm. We don't actually, for instance, we don't do sales for clients, and we've been asked that before. Well, can't you sell it for me? It's like, no, that's not what we do. We're all about ways in which to advertise your product, but you got to sell it. That's your job. My job is to figure out the best way to advertise and market it.
So what are the what gets solved in that process? What's that process like when you're
In terms of
in making it attractive or whatever it is that you're whoever you're working for?
Well, they always say that if you want to be successful, you have to come up with your 3 unique selling propositions. What are your top 3? In your case, in your business, it could be the longevity that you've had in the marketplace, your, creative talent that you employ here. And maybe you're on the cutting edge of new, techniques. And then a good agency will take those 3 things and they'll figure out the best way to advertise them or to get that message out to the public. And we have so many different tools available to us now, digital, traditional media, guerrilla marketing, you name it. So that's what our job is. Figure out who you are, what makes you special, and then let's figure out a plan working within a budget that's generally provided by the client. Not everybody can spend $250,000 a year in advertising and marketing, but they might be able to spend 25. And so we take that 25,000 and we put together a plan for them and says, this is what we think you should do with your money.
Okay, so all channels, whatever that
all
would be.
channels, yes.
Oh, I see.
All
Okay.
channels.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even like a digital, like a Facebook spend or something like
Correct.
that, the same way that would be
Correct.
included in that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
What is your dream client like?
Because my background is in the real estate and development arena, that's what I did when I worked on Marco for Weeks and Her, because that was their forte.
Yeah.
And so that was most of my client experience was in that arena. And then when I opened up my own company, that's where my contacts were. And so I love real estate and development, the high rises and master plan communities. And I just think it's so fun to take something from a piece of dirt to, a place where people can live and love. It's just really fun crafting and from scratch, coming up with the name, coming up with the logo design, and then all the deliverables that you need in terms of brochures and websites and digital advertising and television advertising. And my company does everything under the sun in terms of advertising and marketing for clients. The only thing we don't do in-house is very high-end videography and very high-end photography. But everything else we are capable of handling in-house.
Videography would be for what?
Well, for instance, like our real estate clients want to do a video showcasing their community, and we will outsource the production of that. We'll write it and we'll art direct it and we'll even help edit it. But I don't profess to be a good videographer, so we hire companies that do that for us and then produce these beautiful videos as a sales tool.
And there are companies locally that specialize in just that.
Yeah, yeah.
What for what scope of businesses would you cover at this point? Not just real estate, but
I mean everything.
Yeah.
We've done hospitality, we've done tourism, we've done education, restaurants and retail. Really everything. I don't think there's anything. I'm not a fan of politics, and we have handled political campaigns before. It's not an area that I enjoy. And especially when they lose, then I feel responsible.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty much anything under the sun.
What have you found? You said you hire younger and you're okay with hiring younger. What is your take on the generational gap and what these younger team members are like versus?
It's funny because I have a young man who I hired as an intern when he was at FGCU, and I gave him a job when he graduated from there, and he's been with me 5 years now, and he is my exit plan. I've made him a vice president of the company, and we have, a 3-year plan where he's going to take over as president, and then, eventually buy the company out from me. I would say he's the exception rather than the rule. A lot of young people that I have hired his age just don't have the work ethic, that you or I had, when we were younger. And I don't know why that is. I mean, I don't know if that was a function of their upbringing, but I would say that's the biggest difference these days. I don't find most young people to be go-getters.
Yeah. How do you handle that?
You fire them. Or you suggest their talents might be better used elsewhere.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Where do you find that you get, where do you get people from? How do you get people to work?
Like most people, I advertise on Indeed.
Yeah.
And then you wade through a gazillion resumes.
They come from everywhere.
Would come from everywhere. I mean, we've gotten to the point now, I don't hire from outside of the marketplace. It's just too hard to bring somebody in, relocate them to Naples, not to mention the expense, only to find out that they're not suited for your company or for the work at hand. So we've been pretty lucky that we've been able to hire, at least within a 40-mile radius. We will hire people from Fort Myers or Cape Coral, but gone are the days when I'm hiring from Miami or Tampa or even out of state. It's just, it makes it too difficult.
So you just clarify that in the ad when you do that? Yeah.
Well,
okay.
I just don't look at the ones that are from out of market.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Unless they clearly state in a cover letter to me that, hey, I'm relocating to Southwest Florida. I don't consider them.
Yeah.
And I'm, maybe because I'm old school, I really believe that they need to work in-house. A lot of agencies have folks that work remotely. So I don't know if that's because I'm old school or I'm too controlling, but I like having everybody under one roof.
Yeah.
We're a small firm. There's only 10 of us. And so we're always running back and forth between offices and, hey, what do you think about this? Or how do you feel about that?
Yeah.
And I think it makes for a more cohesive shop when you have that.
Yeah, it makes sense. I think the collaboration, especially in creative world,
Right.
is so necessary. I noticed that in the salon world, which has changed so much in the last 15 or 20 years, these independent suites and booth rental, and where they're in they're all in the same building, but they're in their own little, it's like a flea market kind of for hair is kind of how it's become.
Right.
Where there's no collaboration, there's no feeding off of each other's creative energy, and there's something that gets lost in that because there's not that literal internal sense of competition, but excitement over some new creation or some new breakthrough that they've created or some great look that they've created, and to have that in-house collaboration for anything. I
totally agree, Rob.
Yeah, it's something that's necessary.
Mm-hmm.
People have to be together. I know that opened up a lot with COVID. How many places went to that, but I think having people together really makes a difference. Also psychologically, I know my wife sometimes will work from home. They're allowed to do it one day a week, but she'd rather not because it's just not the same. It's just not it's a different. It's not. And then I'm also distracted working from home. I know that too. Like the laundry needs to be done.
Exactly.
Somebody's at the door.
Yes.
The dog needs to be walked. There's always something going on.
Yep, I totally agree with you there.
People get a lot done doing that. I know that's the world we're in now. But so, who was the big influence in your life? Who shaped you?
My paternal grandfather was an entrepreneur and a wonderful, wonderful man. He took over a family business in Muncie, Pennsylvania. That it was a company that made feed mills, for farmers and equipment that had to do with the farming industry. And he took over this company that was failing and built it into an international corporation that had 1,500 employees all over the world. And but he was the kindest man you would ever want to meet in your life. I mean, when he retired at the age of 72 or whatever it was, his employees put together a book for him of letters that people wrote and the stories that they told about how my grandfather, one guy had gotten arrested for a DUI, 250 miles away. My grandfather drove in the middle of the night to bail this man out and then brought him back, to Muncie. Just story after story after story like that. And so when I think of somebody that, I wanted to emulate, he's definitely top of the list because he was a very good businessman, but more importantly, he was a good human being.
How would he describe you? What's his name?
Deke.
Oh,
yeah.
Awesome.
Deke was his nickname. His given name was Harold Marshall Soares, but they nicknamed him the Deacon when he was younger because he was a very serious young man. And that was shortened to Deke, and it just kind of stuck. How would he describe me? I don't know. I was his favorite because I was the firstborn granddaughter. And so I definitely got a lot of favoritism that, shall I say, my siblings and my cousins did not. But I was a good girl. So, he didn't have many complaints about me. He died when I was, trying to think how old I was. I was living in Florida. He's probably been gone for 30 years now, a while. So he knew me as a young woman, but I did have Alyssa. I had Alyssa and JR, as a matter of fact. So he did get to meet them.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
And you have, how many siblings?
I have 3 siblings, 2 brothers and a sister. They all live here.
Right.
In Naples, yeah.
And where are you in the birth? Where are you in the
I'm
birth
oldest.
of all?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
you're the first.
Yes.
Okay. You run
And
around.
I have a brother, Blair, who lives here now. He runs a big company in Pennsylvania. Got my grandfather's entrepreneurial spirit as well. My brother Rod, who lives here in Naples.
Yeah, he's been here forever. He's been here a long
he
time.
moved here not long after I did.
Right, yeah.
And then my sister Valerie is a principal at Lorenzo
principal?
Walker.
No
Walker.
way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
At Lorenzo Walker?
Yeah, she's been there and of course they're closing it, which is unfortunate, but
Yeah.
she's been there for, I want to say 2 or 3 years.
No
maybe
kidding.
a little
Really?
longer.
Wow.
Yeah. And her husband is also a principal, used to be at Barron Collier.
Really?
Not back when you were there, obviously,
Yeah.
but and he left the school district and came back, and he's now a principal in Immokalee at the middle school out there. So
Wow.
a family of educators.
Yeah, and big-hearted ones, too, because they're both in tougher spots
Yes,
either way.
yeah.
Between the two of them. Wow. Oh, I didn't know that. And what's Rod doing these days?
He's actually my
He was
mother's.
another one. All the women loved him. He was so damn good looking.
Yeah,
He's a good
was.
looking.
Rod the God. One
Yes,
of your
that
employees
was it.
dubbed him that. Yes.
Right. Yeah, Rod the God. That's right.
Yeah. He's living with my mom and is primarily her caretaker. Not that she's like enfeebled to the point where she needs somebody 24/7.
Yeah.
But she's going to be 91 in a couple
Wow,
months.
what good
And
genes. Wow.
she doesn't drive anymore. She gave that up of her own volition, which we were glad about. And it's just nice because he can cook. He cooks for her. He cleans for her.
That's
He takes her
beautiful.
to her
That's so
doctor's
nice.
appointments. And
That's awesome.
yeah.
Has she been here as long as you have in Naples?
Yeah,
or-
she and my father, they vacationed here. When I moved down here, they were always coming because my grandparents were the first ones here. My grandparents moved here in the 70s.
Oh, okay.
And so we, as kids,
Oh, that was the connection, how you
that
ended
was
up
the
here.
connection.
Okay.
Yeah. And so as kids, we would visit them all the time in the wintertime. And then when I moved here permanently, my parents, of course, were coming down to see them and me. And they ended up buying a condo up in North Naples, as my father used to say, right at the height of the market. He claims that the market literally crashed the day after he bought his condo.
Yeah, that's how my timing's always been felt like too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then when did your other brother come here? Because Rod has always been here.
Rod came not long after I did. Valerie followed after that. And then my brother Blair, who had been, coming down to visit all the time anyway, he finally bought, I'm trying to think, it was probably 6 years or so ago, down in Royal Harbor, and he's been flooded now twice with hurricanes.
With both of them. Oh, no. Oh, no.
He's not had the best luck.
Oh.
So he got flooded by, I don't remember which one it was.
I know. I don't know the names
I
anymore.
can't remember the name either.
Yeah.
Had, 2.5 feet in his house. His mattresses in his bedroom were found floating and landed on top of the kitchen cabinets, countertops.
Oh my gosh.
Put the house back together again, gutted it, did everything only to have it flood, the next year. So he's just now done that for the second time.
Jeez.
He says that if it happens again, he's probably going to, because he didn't raise the house, he just did the old 50% rule and was able to put it back together to the point where it was livable and lovely again. But I think if it happens a third time, he's probably going to go up, much like your dad's house.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's crazy. All the years we've had those, we never had it. Then the last...
Never had storm surge.
Never.
Whoever heard of that?
It was a joke to me when they were saying, get your life raft devices out if you're staying.
Yes.
And I just laughed at that. I just never thought it could ever... And then these last few have just been a mess and just really done so much.
Yeah.
At the Village, I remember that Ian, the cars in the parking lot. No, the boats in the parking lot and the cars in the bay.
Right.
So bizarre.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah. Hopefully that's all done for a while now.
We were so lucky. If we'd had another hurricane this past season,
oh my gosh,
I can't imagine what it would have done to Naples, property values.
Yeah, I know. I just, it was enough. We needed to stay away for a long time.
Needed a break for sure.
Yeah. What are some of your, this is a better one. It's sort of a fun one. If your life were a movie, what would the opening soundtrack be?
This is so corny, but what comes to mind immediately is Sound of Music. And don't ask me why. I have no clue, except I think I always wanted to be Julie Andrews, in the middle of the Alps, twirling around in her dress. I don't even know why that came to mind.
Yeah, okay, that's great. That's awesome. I love that. Books that have had an influence on you, or books that you're reading or listening to lately?
I'm a voracious reader. I read at least 2 books a week, sometimes more. I pride myself on the fact that I don't read anything of any social significance. I read to be entertained. My life is enough for me.
I get it.
And all the stuff that's going on around us and in this crazy world of ours. I would say recent book I read that I just loved and I recommended to all my friends was The Five Final Wishes of Mr. Murray McBride. It's about an elderly gentleman who gets diagnosed with a terminal illness, and he decides that he's going to make, his final days count. And these are his 5 final wishes. It was an awesome book, very, very inspiring.
Oh yeah. Okay, good.
Kind of like a la Tuesdays with Maury. If you remember that book.
Yes. Okay. Oh, good. Okay, put that on my list. I also compile a list of everybody who I talk to on here too of the books that people enjoy.
Yeah.
How about podcasts? Any podcasts that you listen to?
I really don't listen to them.
No.
And here I sit for, an hour and a half with you. I really don't. I don't know why. It's just something that's not really on my radar.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not always on mine. I just, every now and then I'll find one, but I don't have a regular that I go to. They're just sometimes, but I listen to books. Do you read actual physical books or Kindle books?
Kindle books, yeah. I listen to books on tape, like if I'm driving long distances occasionally, and I do enjoy it when I think about planning ahead and, finding a book that I'd like to listen to.
Yeah.
But most of the time it's
real reading.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Some people call me cheating when I listen to it on a book. Not really reading. I'm not really reading. I'm listening to it. I also keep up a playlist on Spotify of guests' music. So what is your go-to music?
I listen to Spectrum Radio on Sirius,
Sirius,
and that's a mix
that's a
of
wide
old
range.
and new.
Yes, I like Spectrum. Yeah.
Yes, I keep telling my husband that he's got to get out of the Tom Petty era. I try and bring him new songs every once in a while, like, hey, you might like this one. My all-time favorite song, all-time favorite band is Love Shack by the B-52s. I cannot sit still when that song
Just
comes
automatic,
on.
right?
No.
Yeah.
And
There's
it's
something-
funny, you know, I've got nieces and nephews and obviously children getting married, and they always know that they have to play Love Shack for
that's
Mom
great.
at the reception. Yeah.
There is something about that song that just makes you move inside. Yeah, I get it. We were at a wedding this weekend. Yeah, that was on the playlist.
JR, my son JR, DJs on weekends a lot.
Oh, really?
He has a real job, but he DJs on weekends, and he was DJing a party at Isles of Collier Preserve on Friday night, and he played Love Shack, and then he took a little snippet of it and he sent it to me. He said, "This is for you,
That's
Mom."
awesome.
And I said, "Well, I hope they'd enjoyed it as much as I enjoy it." And he said a woman came up to him and said, "How on earth do you know that song?" And he was like, "It's my mom's favorite song." So yeah,
great.
I know that song.
That's cool. He's doing that. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I used to do that for
He's
money.
a little bit of his dad in him that way.
Yeah, he's got that side. Okay. Any other songs on your playlist that would go down as the?
I'm trying to think of what else I listen to a little bit of everything. You know, and I do love the older stuff like Fleetwood Mac and, you know, some of those old bands that are still around, but maybe not as relevant as they used to be. And James Taylor, and I'm trying to think of the people that I've seen in concert. Earth, Wind and Fire.
Have you seen them in concert?
Yeah, several
Really?
times.
Yeah.
And they're coming to the Hertz Arena.
I heard that. Somebody told me that.
Yeah, in April
Joe
they're
Hatt told me
coming.
that. Yeah.
Middle of April. We're trying to get a big family group together to go. Jim hates Earth, Wind, and Fire. He's a rock and roll guy. So if the Rolling Stones were playing, he would be
He'd
there.
be there, but not. Yeah.
But JR just loves Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Oh, he has
I
an
think-
appreciation for them.
Yeah.
That's
And
that
we're
music in him.
thinking about, and my mother loves them too. So we're thinking about, making sure she has a wheelchair and trying to
how
get
cool
her
would
to
that
that.
be?
That would be super fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, I had heard a while back that they were touring and that they were going to be close by too.
We did. My niece just got married in Isla Morada 2 weeks ago, and there were 10 of us family members that did like a flash mob thing to September by Earth, Wind, and Fire.
yeah.
And I don't know if you've ever seen it on YouTube, but there's like this, do you remember? There's this whole, this whole routine to, we only did a minute of it, but in the middle of the reception, the DJ knew we were going to do this. And
Oh,
so
how
we
cool.
did this flash mob. And my
that's great.
niece just thought it was the coolest
You had
thing.
it choreographed and everything. Oh,
My
that's
sister
great.
was a dancer in college, and so she choreographed this whole 1 minute segment for us.
Oh, it's probably out there online somewhere.
Hopefully not.
I wanted to see if we could dig it up and see put it on here.
No. Well, I was in the back, so you'd probably be safe because I am not nearly as coordinated as my sister.
Okay, we'll have to do some investigating, see if we can dig that out. Yeah, that'd be great. She's still the principal at Votech right now,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Even though they're sunsetting the high school program there is what they're doing.
Yes, which is really
Even though there was such an uproar to keep it, and they still are not doing it.
No, and I guess the reasoning is they need the space for the adult ed classes.
Right.
And my sister and a lot of people who went through the program were like, but what about the kids? Because a lot of these children probably wouldn't have made it through regular high school.
Right.
Yeah. But yet they excelled at Lorenzo Walker.
Yeah.
So
That's such a great pathway. Why are you giving them things that they're not going to use anyway? This is
Exactly.
like the perfect place for them. Yeah.
Well, and if you think about, I serve as an executive officer with the Florida Home Builders Association, and their biggest cry is for, skilled workers,
Yeah.
people in trades. And Lorenzo Walker that was their deal.
Right.
That's what they did. And
Yeah.
they did a fabulous job at it.
Yeah.
I think the county's really going to miss that program.
Yeah,
when
I'm
it's
really
gone.
surprised. It's not like they don't have the money for stuff. I mean, there definitely seems like they've got money, but just that was helpful for us too because they're people who aren't going to college, and
Right.
they're going to go to a trade school.
Right.
And so those people are making more money now sometimes than these people getting degrees that,
Yeah, my husband and I talk about it all the time. Had we to do it all over again, I don't know that I would have pushed all 5 of my kids to go to college.
Yeah.
I think several of them would have been better off learning a trade, and they'd probably be running their own companies now because
Right.
they're all smart.
Yeah.
But our son Jay went to school and got a degree in criminal justice. He did not want to be a cop. He did not want to be a sheriff's deputy.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just, kind of foolish when you look back on it.
Yeah. And you don't know what you really want in life at 18 to
No.
really make a decision for the rest of your life.
No, of course not.
Unless you're some math nerd that just loves engineering or science
Yeah.
or something like that, or medicine or something. But otherwise, that surprises me about Naples, especially with the shift, it seems like, in the marketplace, and Naples needs those trades so much. I mean,
I just was I was in Orlando for 4 days, not my favorite place on earth, for the International Builders Show. And we had an economist from the National Association of Home Builders speak to the group. And he was saying that there are over 200,000 unfilled positions
wow.
in the construction industry right now. I mean, it's just crazy.
Yeah. And where are they going to come from? And they're pushing these other courses and programs. Yeah, I'm really that I remember that going through the process when they were talking about the high school, about getting rid of the high school there, and I didn't realize she was the principal there too.
Yeah, and she loves it there. I mean, she loves the students, and they seemingly love her. And she's talking about, because she's probably, I don't know, 5 years from retirement. Whether or not she might go into it, true administration, or what she's going to stay with the school district, but she just doesn't know what the next move is.
From here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Anything that is going on in your life, because there's nothing you've never been involved in over the time that wasn't giving or contributing or on some board or every association that's been an association you've been involved with forever. You do that. You give so much to so many for so long. First of all, why do you do that?
In the beginning, when I worked for the Naples Daily News, it was kind of expected, because we were covering the Heart Ball. And,
the Heart Ball, yeah.
And remember when
That
Bill
was the
Barnett
ball.
used to do the auction
Yes.
for the Cancer Society?
Yes.
All of those,
Yeah.
I was writing about them as the editor. So that's where I got exposed to a lot of it. And then it was just fun. It was fun to be part of it and to feel like you were giving back. Now, I don't do too much with, the big national organizations anymore. As I said, I do work with the Florida Association of Home Builders, or Home Builders Association. And I do that because I read an article years ago, if you're going to volunteer your time, volunteer where it can do you some good. And obviously, since I do so much in the real estate and development arena in terms of advertising and marketing, it made sense to get involved with an organization like that. And then I'm not here for 6 months out of the year because I'm in Pennsylvania primarily from May through October. So I've gotten involved in some nonprofits up there that I can donate my time to. And it's just like I say, it's nice to be able to do things for people that
You
need
still
help.
do that up there when you're on your vacation
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been forever.
Can't say no, I guess.
Yeah. Right. So you've built an exit strategy.
Yes.
And you have a prodigy that you're working with.
Yes, and I plan on retiring from day-to-day activities in 2 years. I'm 67 now. Did not want to be 70 years old and, tottering around on high heels. So decided I would do that. And then it's a 5-year buyout where I'll still be working with him and helping guide him. And, he can use me whenever he needs me to make pitches or to bounce ideas off of me. And it'll keep my hand in something. I can't imagine, sitting home and eating bonbons all day.
Right. What are you going to do?
Yeah,
You've never
you can
not
only
done
read
something.
so much. I've taken up golf, but I'm a really lousy golfer. So that's not something that's high on my list.
How did you create this exit strategy? Is that where coming
married to an attorney helps a little bit. How did you create an exit strategy like
Yeah,
that? Like,
Jim definitely helped me with, the paperwork and everything. And we talked a lot about what that might look like. Plus my brother, the one who owns the manufacturing plant in Pennsylvania, has been going through this in his own mind, he's just 18 or 21 months younger than I am. So he's at that point in his life where he's thinking about it too. So that was helpful, bouncing ideas off of him. And he's, probably farther along the process than I am, but he's got a much bigger company. I mean, he's got a $20 million a year business, mine's $1.5 million. It's a far cry from 15 or 20 million. And I've been involved in groups before, CEO groups where they talk about that. So, I mean, it's been something that's been in the back of my mind for a long time. And I'm getting to the point now where I really love what I do, but I can also see myself not doing what I do.
Yeah.
So that's okay.
Yeah. And you can slowly shift, but still have your hands in it for a while.
Correct.
And not all the way.
Correct. Plus, Jim is not going to retire for probably, last time I asked him, 3 to 5 years. So it doesn't make any sense for me to be sitting home eating those bonbons if he's going to work every day.
Yeah. The bonbon life. Yeah,
yes,
it'll never
exactly.
happen. Is there something people should know about you but don't?
I don't know. I think I am, who I am and what I am. I mean, I consider myself a pretty genuine person. I love people. I love meeting people, and I try to be a good person. So no, I don't have any like deep secrets or things that people think, oh, well, I didn't know that about her. I mean, I'm kind of like just here.
Yeah.
Kind of an open book.
How about a hidden talent? Do you have a hidden talent?
Oh God, I wish.
Nothing.
I always wanted to be a really good dancer. I'm not. I have no rhythm. I always wanted to be able to sing. I cannot. Karaoke is a joke when I do that. So no, I mean, I write well, but that's not a hidden talent because I was a writer for years. And arts and crafts. I do some arts and crafts, but nothing that I really excel at. I think I do everything average. I'm an average. I think I'm an average mom. I'm an average wife. I'm an average businesswoman. But I do enough to get it done.
Oh, so humble, so humble. Yeah, I don't know. You just you built a legacy of a lot. I mean, you're a big part of this community. Just your family alone, and then
I think that's probably my greatest accomplishment. Truly, is my family. I'm from a very close knit family.
Yeah.
My brothers and sister are my best friends, and
I've always admired that. I know you were.
yeah,
You've always
we're
been very close.
very close family, and we still are. Everybody has their ups and downs, and we're no exception. But and we both, Jim and I, have instilled that in our kids, and we are blessed that we are a blended family. But our children truly think of each other as brothers and sisters, not stepbrothers and stepsisters. And, my daughter was the maid of honor at her sister's wedding and vice versa. And my sons have been best men at their brother's wedding. And so that's, I'm very, very fortunate that way.
Yeah.
And I'm really, really proud of them and their relationships with each other.
Yeah. You've given a lot. If you weren't doing what you're doing today, what do you think you'd be doing?
Oh man, I don't know. I really don't know. I could never, much like your mom, I was not I was never going to be a stay-at-home mom. I love my kids to death, but the thought of being there, 24/7 with them, I couldn't do it. I think I would have gone stir crazy. And I have the utmost, respect for those who do it, because I think it's the hardest job in the world.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why I couldn't do it, because it is the hardest job in the world.
Yeah.
So I don't know what I'd be doing if I wasn't doing this. When I first got into the newspaper business, I interviewed at a radio station and was offered a position with the radio station, but I had already accepted the position with the newspaper that I ultimately went to work for in Jamestown, New York. And I often wonder, like, would I have ever gone the broadcast route, radio and possibly television? I did try out for, do you remember WNOG? When
of course. Wonderful Naples on the Gulf.
Yes. And they had their own television station. They came to me and said, you know what, I think you'd make a really good anchor. Would you want to try out for it? And I said, yeah, sure. I'd love to do that. Of course, the vanity kicked in. So I went to the interview and they had you, read off a teleprompter. And I did okay. I wasn't great, but I did okay. And then at the end of the interview, I went, I think that was the kiss of death. I think that's why they didn't give me the position after all.
Was that over Palmer?
Yes,
in the building
in the
over
local
there?
studio.
Yeah.
It was Dave. What was that guy's
Oh, Dave
name?
Osborne, was it? Dave?
Was it Dave Osborne?
I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
Tall, thin guy with kind of reddish blondish hair. Anyway, he was the one who conducted the interview for me.
Yeah.
So obviously television was not my future either.
I have an old commercial that they made, that Dad made, and the outtakes of it at Palmer. They made it there at Palmer Cablevision.
Is that right?
From 1981, yeah. And Tish Creek is a model, and Pat Rambosk is one of the models, and it is so cheesy. It's so 80s. It's awesome.
Is that right?
Is what it is. Yeah,
I bet it is.
Big hair, the hairspray.
Yep.
Robert will do your hair. Like Tish is like making him sound like this sex goddess or something. It's great.
I had some big hair when I went to Robert of Philadelphia back in the day.
Yeah, that was get it out there. Yeah. All right. Last finale question. What do you love about your life?
Well, other than my kids, which I just waxed on and on about, I think what I love about my life is that I get to live in Naples, Florida, which is one of the most beautiful cities in the world. And then in the summertime, I go to this tiny little town in Pennsylvania, which is the second most beautiful city in the world, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And I feel very fortunate that I have two places like that, and that I have, family who loves both of those places as much as I do.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That was fun.
Well, thank you for having me. Now I feel like I have the Rob DeLella story, and I can go home and report to Jim. So here's what I found out today.
Right. The scoop, the last 20 years of life. Yeah.